Hey, everybody, let's try this again. I'm Steve. Woohoo!
Are you sure?
I hope so. I hope things are working. If anybody out in the chat, let me know if things are working. I'd appreciate it.
Hang on, let me check. You carry on. You do your thing. I've got a window open.
Oh, hey, everybody. It's me. It's Steve. Doing a Friday stream. I know normally Fridays might not be all that good, but, you know, we there's some other heavy hitter YouTubers out there.
Some small fries.
Around this time, and us small guys, you know, we gotta hopefully, you know, make our way in this crazy YouTube world. So we got to do the best we can.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're not going to lose the stream again. If we do, please don't go
anywhere.
We're
live. We're okay.
So, Chris, how you doing? What's going on?
Good, man. Good. Shame we couldn't kind of do what we needed to do yesterday. Apologies. That was all on me. But it is what it is. But, it's nice to do these. Hopefully we've got some nostalgia coming. Some good times. Some bad times, probably. Hopefully we've got all the Star Wars in there. All the good Star Wars, the Acolyte. All that stuff.
You'll just have to wait to see what we got. We're doing our sci-fi TV show bracket fight. I got shows from all over the place, all over time and space. Bringing in shows. Some you might have heard of, some you might not have, some you might not have thought of in a very long time. But I'm bringing them in. So
oldies but goldies.
I don't think we should. Yes, I don't think we should dilly-dally anymore. I think we should just go ahead and get on with this bracket fight.
Let's do it. Hi, Amy. How you doing?
Hello. It's good to see you, my number one fan. All right. If you're ready,
let's do this.
I'm ready.
I like this background.
You do?
Yeah, it's very, very soothing, very calming. I zone myself out. So if I fall asleep, you'll know why.
I'll shout at you. All right, here we go. Let's do this thing. Bracket fights. All right, so first up, Farscape and The Man in the High Castle. Are you familiar with either one of these, Chris?
Yes.
Both or just...
I was going to drag it out then. Pardon me, I'm going to try. Hang on. Let me just position my mouse over the mute button. There we go. So if I need a cough, I can mute my microphone. Farscape. Farscape all the way. Don't get me wrong. I can't tell you anything about it now. All I can tell you is it was on BBC Two, maybe Tuesday or Thursdays, like at 6 o'clock. You know, there used to be a golden age of TV in the UK on the BBC. Now it's all shit. And you had Farscape. You had, I don't know, probably not all at the same time, but, the BBC made a good attempt to keep kind of decent kind of programming. And you had Farscape, you had TNG, you had Buffy, you had DS9, all this good stuff. Farscape was fantastic. I remember really enjoying it, but it's one of those things that kind of, Star Trek kind of carried on. Farscape didn't, so, I can't really remember too much. But I just know that I enjoyed it, and that's enough. The Man in the High Castle, or whatever the hell it is, no, I mean, I'm aware of it, but I've never watched it. It just sounds depressing, to be honest. Anything focusing on certain elements of that kind of thing, to me, just can only kind of be depressing. So I'm hoping you've watched it and you can disagree and say that The Man in the High Castle is the most uplifting program you've ever watched.
No, it sounds pretty depressing. It's I've not watched it either, but I'm aware of it. I know it's taken from an alternate history novel from Philip K. Dick, the man who brought us a lot of other great books that were turned into great movies like Blade Runner.
Nice.
But yeah, the I read somewhere that he wanted to do a sequel to his book to this book, but it was so depressing he didn't want to get back into it. He said the only way he'd do it is if he had another writer come in and help him to do some of the heavy lifting with the bad guys, and it ended up just not getting done. So I don't blame him.
What's sci-fi about this? Do we know?
It is considered alternate history, and that is a subgenre of sci-fi.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think since I never watched this and you never watched this, and I watched a lot of Farscape, I enjoyed it. It was on the Sci-Fi channel Friday nights, Friday or Saturday nights. Watching it, it was good. It was very odd, with being part of having Jim Henson Muppets type creatures in the show. I mean, it wasn't like a Muppet show, but all the creatures were from the Jim Henson workshop.
Again, that's one of the things I can kind of remember. I mean, that tiny little picture there as well. They did their best with kind of alien design and creature design, and I think that helped it along.
And the thing is, two of the stars there ended up winding up on another show that we'll probably end up seeing on this list. So,
jumping ship.
So, unless you have an objection, I think we're just going to go ahead and move Farscape.
It's got to be Farscape. It's got to be Farscape because this High Castle sounds depressing, and anything from the modern era has got like a 70% failure rate, in my opinion, 80% failure rate. So yeah, fuck them, and their High Castle too.
All right. Oh, it's doing it. It's doing the same thing does yours.
Yeah. See, so now we have evidence. Yeah, it's not me.
It's not you.
I did everything right.
All right. Next up, we have The Mandalorian versus The Orville.
I haven't seen either of these, but I can tell you straight off the bat that I'd probably watch The Orville. I was kind of by the time I noticed The Orville, it kind of been and gone, and there's too much stuff to catch up on. But it looks interesting. If I was going to watch anything out of these two, it'd be The Orville. I couldn't give a toss about Disney Star Wars. I don't give a shit if it's good. I know people kind of like certain elements of The Mandalorian or whatever. I'm not interested. Is this got Pedro in it? Is this got the Pedro Demikin?
This is the Pedro in, yes.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I have watched both of these, and I enjoyed The Orville. I mean, I didn't think I was going to like it at first because I thought it was just going to be like a goofy comedy, but it has comedic elements in. But it was a really good sci-fi show. I mean, it had a lot of good stuff in, and it ended up tackling a lot of good issues, and the action was pretty good in it. So I think it was I think it was really good. The fact that they couldn't get a season 4 is a little disappointing because I think they were building up to something, and I think it was going to be pretty good, and they fumbled it.
Who holds the rights to The Orville? Kind of like TV wise, is it Netflix? Is it?
It's Fox, I believe.
Oh, okay. Disney then.
So you do have some free time, and you want to give The Orville a shot, and you can find it. I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it more than I would The Mandalorian at this point.
If The Orville's on Disney, because I mean, like I said, if it sits under Fox, and it probably will be, then that's probably your answer, isn't it? They don't want any sci-fi that can get in the way of their precious shitty Star Wars. So that could be the explanation for that. Whether they admit it or not is a different story.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, it's more like Star Trek than Star Wars.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck, do they?
So I mean, it wouldn't compete compete at all against it.
Mm.
Honest. But looks like we have a vote for the Mandalorian. Although I'm going to vote Orville. Chris, what's your vote?
Oh, whatever the opposite of Disney Star Wars. So yeah, I mean, and not just saying that. I've seen clips from the Mandalorian. In all jokes aside, and I've seen clips from the Orville. If I had to have a choice, I'd watch the Orville.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I must be having issues with my.
Please stand by, viewers.
Yeah, because I hit it. It's just.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Leave that
There
music.
we go. All right, next up, we have The Flash versus Blake's 7.
I haven't really seen a lot of Blake 7, if I'm honest. Whereas I have seen probably up to season 3, season 4 of The Flash, and it was fun. It was pretty good. It was bingeable TV, and sometimes that's all you can ask for.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Blake 7 is highly regarded, so Jimmy, I don't know. And they're kind of different shows as well, which is a bit of a shit. One is set in space, and the other one is not. So I'm not sure on this one, to be honest. I mean, you think logically I'd say Flash because that's the only one that I've seen. But then again, I don't want to upset anyone. That generally, Blake 7 probably is a better program. Anything from the CW at the time was average, but let's be honest, I'd rather, if you had a choice between, the Flash and, the old Thunderbirds, like the old Thunderbirds, not this like animated CG bullshit they do now, I'd go with that. I mean, what do you think? Have you seen Blake 7?
I have seen some Blake 7. They played it on PBS around my parts.
Okay.
Before a lot of times before they showed Doctor Who. So it was kind of a package deal. You'd watch Blake 7 and then Doctor Who, or sometimes vice versa. Doctor Who was on, and then afterwards Blake 7 would show up. But I gotta admit, I'm probably a bigger fan of the Flash than Blake 7.
Okay.
I've watched a few more seasons than you. I think I got up to about season 6 or 7, and then I just kind of things just started getting a little too weird. I think there's a point where they started using the power of friendship to battle people. I'm like, nope, I'm out now.
I mean, Grant Gustin, he was a tremendous choice for the Flash, just like Amel for, in my opinion, as Green Arrow in Arrow. Funnily enough, great choices, and because did the Flash come after Arrow, or was it after? Yeah, so you had 2 great castings, and then you just started having all this silliness, didn't you? Like Legends of Tomorrow and all this other stuff, and the more they added on, just the lack in quality started kind of appearing, and then they're doing all the crossovers, and that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. You should do it, but it got a bit messy.
I didn't mind Legends of Tomorrow. I thought the first couple seasons were good. Then it started getting, I think by season 4, things started going off the rails a little too much, and so. So what do you say, Chris? We going Flash for this one?
Go with the Flash. Yeah, apologies. If you disagree, put it in the comments and abuse Steve. It's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it. Steve saw some of it, so.
Okay. Next.
Are we having? Do you think we're having connection issues?
We might be having some connection
Yeah.
issues. I'm hoping not.
Okay. Okay. It's all right. We're struggling on. It's fine.
Apologies to to everyone watching. We're doing our best here. It's a technical difficulty beyond any of our controls. Doing our best. All right. So up next we have Stargate SG-1 versus Eureka.
Yep.
Chris.
I was waiting. I didn't know if you wanted to jump in. I love Stargate, the film. The film's one of the best sci-fi films for me, kind of from that era. Perhaps even now, to be fair. Actually, I haven't seen it in a long time, and I probably should. But I was never a fan of the TV series.
Really?
And I understand people go kind of bananas over it. It just never worked for me. I don't know if these are on at the same time. I mean, like I said, I watched a little bit of Stargate, but I think in the UK we had it was called A Town Called Eureka. They marketed it for some bizarre reason. I prefer Eureka, but I kind of get what they were trying to go for when they market it in the UK. But I really enjoyed Eureka. At least the first 2 seasons. After that, it started getting a little bit silly. It wasn't horrible, but certain characters left, and you kind of saw where the weaknesses kind of were.
Yeah, I was a fan of both the Stargate movie, love it, and I enjoyed the show. I watched every single season.
Eureka is different, and I think that's upon the pun, if you will, the difference between these two programs. It was about a little town, funnily enough, of mad scientists and like 1 or 2 sane people, and like what would happen. And I really enjoyed that. And to be fair, it's a biased opinion because this was like I first started watching this when I first moved out, Steve, into the brave new world. First flat or apartment out, kind of away from the parents. First thing I did was going to get Sky TV in because I was living by myself. And Sky were also, funnily enough, back in the day, Sky TV, our premium TV kind of provider, they used to be good. They used to be decent. And they'd have this on Sky One, so you'd rush back from work, get this on, lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Stargate just didn't hit it for me. And I know that's going to upset some people. But it is what it is. I mean, I got through the first series, but then and then they did other things, didn't they? Do like Atlantis or something? They did other stuff.
Yeah, there were
series.
There were other spin-off shows.
Yeah. And when I saw those kind of advertised, I was like, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah, I enjoyed Eureka. There was another. This was on Sci-Fi. Another show they had on Sci-Fi, which is not on the list, is Warehouse 13.
I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
But
yeah, I'm aware of that. I never saw it.
They actually had a couple crossover episodes between Eureka and Warehouse 13.
Okay.
And so that put both of those shows in the same universe, which I thought was pretty cool.
Cool.
So this is going to be a tough one for me because, like I said, I watched both of them in their entirety, and while they are 2 different shows, they're both, in my opinion, really good, entertaining shows.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective, like I said, is Eureka was new-ish. I don't know if there's a program done, before about it, but it was fresh. The casting was fantastic. They had a lot of charisma going around. And it was just a different setup. Whereas I feel Stargate was just kind of more of the same, and it wasn't a movie casting. And I think if you're going into it expecting that, you're not going to get it.
All right. Well, I think, I think I got one vote for Stargate, one vote for Eureka. Let's go to the chat. Amy says she has no dog in the fight, but she'll choose Eureka in this matchup.
A wise choice.
So, I think this might equal this might can be considered an upset.
Yeah, I think there's some diehard fans out there that'll be upset by it. But if you're a true nerd, you won't be offended by somebody else's kind of choices, will you?
That's true. So we got Eureka moving to the next spot, and as soon as thing moves on, there we go.
It's all the ads you've got open. Look at all these videos playing.
I don't have ad blocker, unfortunately. I wish I could get rid of all the ads. But so up next we got Babylon 5 and Star Trek Enterprise. And for me personally,
straight out of the gate,
Star Trek Enterprise.
Okay.
I was never a huge fan of Babylon 5. I tried to give it a chance, but it just didn't, just didn't do it for me. I mean, Babylon 5 and DS9 came out at about the same time.
Yeah, wasn't there like a legal dispute or something? There was some kind of, I don't know, again, I'm kind of pulling it out of thin area, but I see clips every now and then when you kind of search for YouTube and you'll see something kind of interesting. I always found Babylon 5 to be the boring Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a huge amount of it, and maybe if I did, I'd change my mind. But the bits I did see just weren't as good as Avery Brooks. Avery Brooks is worth every person in Babylon 5, unfortunately, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think Babylon 5 tried to sue. I don't know if it was Paramount at the time or whoever had.
It would have been, I think, wouldn't
it? Because DS9 was too close to Babylon 5. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought they got J. Michael Straczynski. I thought they got his input on DS9 before they moved on to do their own thing, and then I think he did. I might be misremembering this.
There was something. There was definitely a connection there. What it is for sure, though, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it's been so long, and I really didn't pay much attention to it. Like I said, I was more of a Star Trek guy than a Babylon 5 guy. So I watched.
That's exactly it, isn't it? Star Trek was already established, and again, like kind of as far as kind of when it was on Channel 4, which had adverts. And we joke about adverts now in today's kind of modern kind of programming and stuff, but that probably didn't help because I imagine they were on kind of similar time slots. But nah, Babylon 5 is a poor man's DS9.
Yeah,
sorry. I've seen a minimal amount of Enterprise, like you'll know. But if I had to, make a decision, it would be Enterprise. Yeah.
That is the correct answer.
Indeed. Quite right, too.
So going back to the chat, Steve chooses Star Trek. No surprise there. If you watched an earlier live stream of ours, we determined scientifically that Star Trek is better than Star Wars. So it's
science.
It's no doubt. It's no surprise. Star Trek is going to be moving ahead here. That is, once everything catches up. Because
Moving
whatever
slowly ahead.
for whatever reason, either it's Restream or the internet provider just wants to be really slow today, or it's probably some of the bigger YouTubers trying to put the kibosh on us.
Stealing our thunder, that's it. It's sabotage.
Yeah.
Damn you, Gary. If FNT
Sabotage.
started, I don't know. I think it's a bit early for FNT, isn't it?
If it hasn't happened, it's on. It's either starting or it's going to be on now. All right, next up, Space 1999 versus Millennium.
No idea.
Are you aware of any of these shows, Chris?
No. Well, yeah, I'm aware of Millennium. That came out shortly after the X-Files, didn't it? Or like halfway through. It was another Chris Carter project, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it had Lance Henriksen, or however you pronounce his name.
Henriksen.
Yeah, I mean, it was more about the occult and serial killers, wasn't it? Doing the trigger YouTube, but
yeah, but
it was that kind of thing, wasn't it?
It was, but it still had a connection to the X-Files. It was still had that X-Files, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, and I think they did try advertising it like that in the UK, even though it was on X-Files. Surprise, being a fantastic program. The BBC had already snagged it up, so that was on late night on BBC. This was on like ITV. There's no difference on what's showing it, I suppose, but that's just all I remember of it, to be fair. I may have watched one episode, maybe. As for the other, Space, heard of it, obviously. I've probably watched about an hour's worth of it in my life, and that was a very long time ago. So I can't really. But then again, what would I rather watch? I'd probably go with Space. Space always has to be spoken like that. I'd go with Space if I had to make a choice. So, what about you?
Space. No, I actually not Space for me, because I remember when it was on originally, and it really didn't catch my eye, and I watched a couple. Tried to watch a couple scenes on YouTube just to try to get my remembrance back, and I remember, this still is not the thing. Whereas I really enjoyed Millennium.
Okay,
I really enjoyed that show. It was pretty good. Yeah, I would choose Millennium every single time over Space.
Fair enough.
But this puts us at an impasse, and unfortunately,
we'll put Millennium through because, like I said, I mean, I could watch Space a bit more, and I could think it's absolute shit. Whereas I could watch Millennium more, and it could be pretty good once I gave it a chance. So if you watch them, yeah, put Millennium through. That's fine. I'm sure it's not an abjectly bad program. It just I
actually did click Millennium. It's just taking a while.
Please stand by. Let's move down a bit, so that's how you know it is thinking about it.
Here we go. Next, Stranger Things versus The Next Generation.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that these two wouldn't cross paths for a while, to be honest. But, TNG is solid sci-fi. It's one of the greatest in the genre, etc., etc. But I found TNG to be a bit boring at times, which is why I think I prefer kind of DS9 over TNG. Kind of and the movies kind of for me, they weren't perfect, but there was more pew pew, and that's kind of what I appreciate. And I know that wasn't what Star Trek was about, but that's unfortunately what I like. So fuck off. Stranger Things, again, it's a fantastic program. Pardon me. It certainly has probably more weak points than TNG does, just because, unfortunately, modern storytelling, but I would enjoy Stranger Things more. I think, if I had the opportunity to watch kind of one or the other. There's something ultra nostalgic about Stranger Things, particularly series 1, and maybe series 4. Series 2 is okay. It's not bad, but it's not the best. The casting is great. The music is absolutely outstanding on their original score and the songs they choose for the soundtrack. And I know, that kind of works against TNG because it only has its score, which is also good. But I don't know. If I was being honest, I'd go with Stranger Things.
I gotta admit, I've only watched the first season of Stranger Things, and when I did, I absolutely felt like I was transported back to the 80s.
Yeah, it is brilliant.
I mean, just the music, the way everything looked, the way they acted. It was like found footage of a 1980s show that didn't make it, and now we're going to show it. And I thoroughly enjoyed I thoroughly enjoyed the first season.
What makes it again, we talk about this like the lone Dalek theory. What makes it absolutely even more kind of scarier, terrifying, however you want to put it, is you have that one, that one kind of main kind of Demigorgon. Just initially, and it's the same thing. It's like, Jesus, like what the fuck is this? And then obviously they make the mistake, and there's fucking 50,000 of them kind of towards the end, but in later seasons anyway. Spoilers, but look, Star Trek in TNG is good. It's a great program. I'm not kind of disputing that, but if I had to be honest, my personal preference is Stranger Things.
Yeah, like I said, I've watched every season of the Next Generation, every episode, several times. Like I said, I've only watched the first season of Stranger Things. Loved it. Unfortunately, things happened. Life got in the way, and we ended up getting rid of Netflix, and I just never got back around to getting it because I started getting other streaming services, and I wasn't about to pay enough.
Too many services, man.
Wasn't about to pay more money just to watch shows that I may or may not want to watch. So this is a tough one. I mean, I know Stranger Things was absolutely a very cool concept.
Yeah.
Star Trek Next Generation was awesome, and it brought back Gene Roddenberry's original idea. It's of all the Star Trek spin-offs, it's probably the closest to the original series, I feel.
Yeah.
So I might want to go Star Trek just because.
This is the thing, there's no wrong answer in these situations, Well, I mean, actually, if you were saying, I don't know, the Acolyte, then yes, there clearly is a wrong answer, and it is the Acolyte all day long. But
it's always the wrong answer.
Yeah.
So I think we might be at an impasse. Chat, you guys have any any insight? Is there anything you guys like more than the other? It'd be great to hear from you. Amy says Amy's guessing we're going to pick Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Funny how these things work out.
True. I mean, I guess I could do the coin flip of doom.
Well, if that's what needs to be, like I said, they're both kind of great caliber programs, so if that's what we need to do.
All right. No, that's not right. Chris, I'm going to let you call it.
Heads, why not?
It is tails.
Fair enough. There you go. insert a Two-Face quote there.
Star Trek's going through. Next, Firefly versus Lost.
Which isn't a bad shout, is it? Really, let's be honest. It's, you know, you don't really have to lick any wounds over that one. That's
I didn't mind Lost when it came on. When it originally came on, I thought it was a pretty cool idea. I love the mystery. I love the fact that it kept kind of each week it presented, you know, a bit more of the mystery, and it forced you to come back the next week to see what was going on, where this whole thing was going to lead. Firefly was very straightforward in its storytelling. Just, a group of ragtag people just trying to make their way in the universe, trying not to get, you know, dodging the government and dodging, you know, some freaky undead things, trying to make a living. I know people right now. There's a big J.J. Abrams haters club out there because of what he's done to things like Star Trek and Star Wars TV, like he did Lost, Fringe. He had his hand in that. I don't mind I don't mind his TV stuff. You know, he maybe he should have just stuck to TV and not try to enter movies.
Agree.
I really enjoyed Firefly, but I think Lost is more of a kind of fun mystery show. The ending kind of, you know, went off the rails. If anybody's not seeing the end of Lost, I'm not going to give anything away. But yeah, I'm going Lost on this one.
You've got Lost over this one, okay?
Yeah.
I haven't really seen either of these programs, but I did watch Serenity, so I've got like a little bit of an idea. Big Nathan Fillion fan. You know, just except for maybe The Rookie, his latest TV project. I can't get my head around that.
Yeah, I didn't.
But I don't hate it. I don't hate it. If it's on, then, you know, I'll just kind of zone out with it. But, you know, everything else he's done, Castle, kind of, you know, just Castle being the main convention point I've seen him in. Just he's a cool dude. He is a cool dude. Buffy as well. He had a funny turn, I think, for like a couple of episodes, didn't he? I wonder what the connection is between those two shows. Lost to me just seemed a bit boring, and it seemed like it's just kind of dragged out. It went on for too long. In my kind of personal opinion.
It might have went on a little too long, but I think for the first couple seasons, I think it really it was a really good. It had mystery. It had enough sci-fi elements in it for the sci-fi nerd. You know, it had time travel. It had some really weird, you know, it had all kinds of weird stuff, and I loved it.
Yeah, just fair. Again, you know, just if I had to pick again, I'd go the opposite. I'd go with Firefly. You know, just that Wild West kind of nature. You know, kind of band of rogues. You know, just kind of, as you say, just making a living, planet to planet, and then, you know, whatever overarching storyline. You know, Nathan Fillion, from the clips that I've seen, has got some fantastic one-liners. which plays to his strength. You know, so it was a Joss Whedon production, wasn't it? You know, before you know he said all the hurty things and upset all the Z-list actors and actresses that we haven't seen again in any other project apart from maybe like some minor roles like years ago. So you know, we're still talking about how good Joss's programs are, but the people that fucked him over, you know, they're just a leaf, you know, kind of flowing through the kind of wind of time. So I'd go for Firefly. I think that looks like absolute kind of top quality sci-fi. Lost just seems a little bit kind of goes on for too long.
Yeah.
Seems and you know, aren't they all dead in the end? Isn't that the
Oh, now you
thing?
gave it away. Yeah.
Fuck spoilers. They've had fucking what? How many? 50 years to watch this shit. You know,
Yeah,
and in
they're all-
the end, you know, is that true then? Is that the ending? Yeah, you know,
they're all dead.
this is heaven or this is hell. Well, you know, that to me, that would if I watched all the way through however many seasons it was, and that was the ending that I got presented with, I would not be happy because that just sounds like a massive fucking cop out. It just sounds like they didn't know what to do, so they just thought, this is heaven, this is limbo, before they go to heaven or hell. Nah, fuck off. In the fucking gulag for you.
You know, I'm willing to let Firefly go. We're gonna let Firefly go through.
I don't know.
Because Firefly was a good show.
Yeah.
Should have got a second season. I think if it got more seasons than just the one, it would have been a little more highly rated. People would be talking about it more.
Was Serenity in place of a second series, Steve, or
Yeah,
what's its relation?
The last season, the last episode kind of left on a cliffhanger, and Serenity kind of came in to close things up. All right, so now here we are, Farscape versus the Orville.
Okay. I'm going to have to just make it quite simple. I'm going to have to go with Farscape because, like I said, I haven't seen the Orville.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have to stick with what I know. Farscape was a great program. You know, we've already kind of been through the bushes with it.
Yeah.
The Orville looks good, but until I see it, I'm not really going to know. What are your thoughts?
Again, I liked both shows. The Orville, while it was good sci-fi, it was a little more jokey than I would like it to be. And Farscape was just weird enough to keep me interested a little bit more. So yeah, I think Farscape's going to outmaneuver the Orville here.
We've got Sequest DSV in this.
Do we, or are you asking?
Yeah, is that a participant in the other bracket? We don't talk about, I mean, in general, everyone really, we don't talk about Sequest DSV enough, really, okay?
Yes.
You've heard of science fiction. Well, this is...
It is in the other bracket.
This is Sci-Fi. This is Water-Fi. Oh, boy, okay. I'm going to go with Eureka because, again, it was something new at the time. They tried something different. I know they didn't reinvent the wheel with all of this, but like I said, the core premise of the show was unique. Whereas, you know, I'm not saying The Flash was any better or worse. I mean, they both, in my opinion, have the same kind of issue that the longer it goes on, the bit wobbly it gets for different reasons, cast kind of members leaving, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Eureka on this one.
Yeah, Eureka, I think they had a stronger through line. I mean, you can watch all the seasons of Eureka, and while it does get a little wobbly towards the end, it doesn't get anywhere near as bad as The Flash got towards the end. So
nice.
I'm gonna put Eureka through.
Oh, this isn't a difficult choice for me because I'm a nonplussed by both entrants. But if we're talking about sci-fi, I mean, is Millennium? I don't know. I'm still not convinced because I haven't seen it. and I'm just going from that impression of what was sold to me kind of years ago. So I mean, my pick would be Star Trek, just because. But I guess
Yes,
we've got your thoughts on it.
both shows are good, but Star Trek is infinitely more superior in this fight than Millennium.
Sorry, Millennium. Oh, well. It has to be TNG for me, because although Firefly didn't get additional series, we don't know how they would have turned out.
Right.
And it's all very well making the assumption that they would be good, but let's be honest, it could have been fucking shit.
Mhm.
And TNG was, was a trendsetter. It did kind of pretty much kind of put Star Trek back on the map all those years after. So yeah, TNG.
Okay, I can't argue with you. TNG is the superior sci-fi TV show
Yeah.
of these two. Got to go.
And it's a shame, as you said, I guess we'll never know. But got to call it for what it is.
Yeah.
While we wait for the bracket to update.
Yes. Amy was all in for Eureka as well, so it's good to know.
I've got them. I had them free of charge on the Microsoft Store.
Yeah.
Which is great. But you try watching the Microsoft Store products on anything that isn't an Xbox. So I don't know how I'm going to get around that one. I might just have to buy some cheap fucking pre-owned, or, OG Xbox or something just to rewatch these again. I would go Eureka on this one again as well. Again, just
Yeah.
Eureka kind of resonates more with me than Farscape does. But, again, both fantastic shows. I remember more of Eureka, and
And while
don't get me wrong, but
and like I said, Farscape was weird enough to be cool. Sometimes it did get a little too weird, and Eureka was just right. I think they hit that sweet spot between bringing in sci-fi nerdy guys and normies who just wanted a fun show to watch.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give Eureka the win in this one.
There we go. Okay, so we have one part of the final.
Almost.
Please stand by.
So once it does update, it's going to be Eureka versus the Enterprise.
Oh, okay.
So this is the winner for this bracket. Who's? Oh wait, no, we still got.
Hang on. We've still got some questions to be answered. I haven't seen Enterprise. I have seen TNG, so I'd have to go with TNG.
See,
that's the only way I can call it, unfortunately.
See, I'm absolutely an Enterprise guy. I mean, I love the Next Generation.
The thing is, looking at the Enterprise cast, and they just don't seem as charismatic as Riker, Crusher. Exclude Worf because I guess it's supposed to be pre kind of whatever, but you got Riker. They could have an android. You can have Data, the Forge. Just the main cast members of TNG radiate. Kind of just greatness. There's something about them, and I'm looking on the left, and it's just it's just some office workers I've got together for a photo shoot. And Scott Bakula is great. I'm not that invested in him like some people are. Quantum Leap was fine. But just look at the two pictures side by side. I mean, it's just the picture on the right is not like the picture on the left.
Yeah.
And that's excluding Worf. Do you know what I mean? They're giving them a bit of a thing with that. It's just some people that have got together for a picture.
Yeah, I love both these shows. I'm a huge fan of the Underdog. Huge fan of the underdog. So Star Trek Enterprise showed up, and I was there religiously every week watching it on TV. I got all 4 seasons back there on DVD. When push comes to shove, if we're talking, what's the best? I think I gotta side with you and go TNG.
Yeah, fair enough.
Simply because they, like you said, they reinvigorated the Star Trek franchise.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for them, Enterprise wouldn't be there. And like I said, in the end, these are all great shows. There is no real loser. But just in this the way they were seated randomly, we're gonna go Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, quite right too.
Now we're gonna come up with the winner of this bracket, which will end up being TNG or Eureka.
Okay.
Once the internet wants to catch up. Very disappointed in my internet connection. Very disappointed. Here we are. Eureka, Next Generation.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to say Next Generation because Eureka's a good show, but the Next Generation, epitomizes sci-fi storytelling.
Yeah, and if you put them both kind of side by side, I suppose, TNG is consistent, whereas they say with Eureka kind of drops off, at least for me anyway, after kind of series 2. Again, because from what I remember, cast members leaving, but TNG never really had that with the main cast. We had 1 or 2 like secondary characters that you couldn't really give a fuck about, to be honest. But it was consistent, and again, looking at it honestly, I'd be lying if I said kind of Eureka. Again, it's a fantastic program, but TNG, just it's consistent. You can dial into pretty much most episodes, maybe after whatever series 1 or what have you. Although I didn't think series 1 or the earlier series were that bad in quality, they're just not to my preferred taste. So yeah, TNG, I think, and it would be it'd be silly to say anything else.
Yeah, the first season of TNG, it was good. They were trying to find their footing, between trying to not be a copy of the original series, but still trying to emulate the original series. And sometimes they did a great job. Sometimes they didn't. I wasn't a big fan of Dr. Pulaski.
Yeah, true. Crusher literally crushed the good doctor.
And I just started doing a rewatch of TNG, and I skipped the first 2 seasons and went right to season 3. As a matter of fact, I just finished The Best of Both Worlds Part 2, which was the premiere season of season 4. My wife watched it with me, surprisingly. She sat down. I said, "We're watching this," and she said, "Yes, sir."
Well, this is it. You give the command as the captain of the ship.
I am the captain. So, Amy says Eureka, but I think the consensus is TNG. So
yeah, unfortunately for Eureka,
good show, but Star Trek is going through to face the winner of it. And the other side, here we are.
Okay.
Odyssey 5 versus Quantum Leap.
I don't even know what the fuck Odyssey 5 is, to be honest. But I do remember, of course, Quantum Leap, and that was brilliant. So yeah, has to be Quantum Leap, doesn't it, for me?
Well, for those of you who don't know, Odyssey 5, only one season, came out on Showtime.
Okay.
It's about a shuttle crew, the Odyssey, and there's 5 of them, of course. While they're doing their thing, they're orbiting the planet, they're doing, sciencey things aboard the space shuttle.
Right.
The Earth blows up.
Well, I mean, that's always a problem, isn't it?
And so now we have 5 astronauts, being blown out of orbit, or, what was orbit, seeing, chunks of Earth. They see, bits of car fly by in space. And just when they think things are going to go badly, like this is where they're going to die, an alien shows up, and he explains that the Earth exploding was not an accident. It was a evil alien group that's out for domination or something, and he was back in time to stop them. Thing is, he couldn't.
Right.
He could only send their consciousness, their mind back. You can send it back 5 years. So he ends up sending back 5 years, and now they have to kind of go through that 5 years again. Not only just trying to relive and make sure they get back to where they need to be, but now they're trying to hunt down these rogue aliens that are out to destroy the Earth. And it has a lot of great twists and turns in it. And it ends on a cliffhanger. Very disappointed that they didn't come up with a second season. As a matter of fact, Manny Koto, the guy who did the last season of Enterprise, was involved in Odyssey 5. So the last season of Enterprise, the one people say was really started getting good and getting good, also did Odyssey 5. So if you can find Odyssey 5 anywhere, it might be hard. I have it on DVD. If you can find it anywhere and you want to give it a watch, I would recommend it.
Okay.
But that being said, Quantum Leap was a great show. 7 seasons, impressive storytelling, impressive cast. Really loved it.
And they tried rebooting it.
The reboot was just was crap. It's complete crap.
Yeah, funny. That surprises me, Steve, because these reboots always go so well, don't they?
Yeah, especially when they fill them with the non-binary.
Yes, and the other folk. I mean, again, it's just kind of memories, isn't it? I remember Quantum Leap. Again, not that it really matters, I suppose, but it was probably on during the weekdays at some point. But I remember it being on kind of on Sundays, and it's just kind of light viewing on a Sunday. Brilliant stuff, and the casting was great, the storytelling was great. It was a simple premise. You didn't really need to think that hard to understand kind of what they were getting at, and that's always good. And it was just a lovely, positive show. Generally, always had a positive message rather. There's no vodka in this. I wish there was. And then again, something that's very rare in TV programs now because it's so dark and nihilistic and fucking boring. But Quantum Leap was one of those rare programs where you would feel a bit better off at the end of it because there was a nice message and someone was saved and so on and so forth for the most part. And then the reboot, and that was shit. And they should honestly, there should be criminal charges against these people for doing this kind of stuff, and yeah. But anyways, to the task at hand, Quantum Leap, it has to be. And had a banger theme tune.
Yes. Chat says Quantum Leap too. Amy's chiming in with Quantum Leap, so
Correct.
she has given the correct answer. As much as I love Odyssey 5, and really disappointed it didn't get a second season. Quantum Leap's going to move through. Right, so next we have the battle of the 70s shows. The Bionic Woman versus the $6 Million Man.
I haven't really seen either of these, to be honest. Again, I could be misspeaking for the citizens of the Keir Starmer's United Kingdom, but these weren't really a big thing in the UK. And I'm sure someone will rewatch this and put in the comments, "Oh, it was, it was the, whatever." I'm like, was it though? Was it really? I mean, they're culture relevant. The $6 Million Man. You'll hear the music every now and then, or kind of, I can't give an opinion. I mean, the Bionic Woman, because reasons.
Yeah. I love both shows, although I love the $6 Million Man more. I actually had the action figure. It was like a 12-inch action figure where it had a little button in the back, like a little ratchet button, and he had like a car engine that you could grab and hit the button, and it would ratchet up and make it look like he's lifting up this heavy car engine, and his one eye was a magnifying glass, so you could look through it and you could like see things magnified. It's not like he's looking far away. So I'm going to say $6 Million Man.
Fair enough.
Amy's also saying $6 Million Man.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair. Yeah, like I said, there probably isn't a bad choice there.
So,
if you hate women, that is.
Hey, they tried to reboot it. They did a reboot, which I didn't think was bad, but the NBC didn't give it a chance, and they just pulled it.
Did it actually have the genuine Steve Austin in it, though? Because that would have probably made it more interesting.
That was the genuine Steve Austin.
Nah. There's only one Steve Austin.
All right, so here we got the X-Files and the 4400.
Come on, let's not cut any crap here. It's the X-Files, isn't it? Come on.
We're not going to go make a case for 4400?
Not even close. Who gives a fuck? The 4400 what? So insignificant. I can't even remember it.
4400 was a good show.
Yeah, it wasn't the X-Files, though, was it? Which is a problem if you were the 44 Jane. It never really interested me. I never really watched it. So, I mean, I couldn't gauge. But I'm going to make the assumption it was never as good as the X-Files. It is what it is.
True. I mean, I love the X-Files. I love 4400. I should probably get the 40. I should probably get both of them on DVD because I've
got. I mean, it's still sealed, so I'm fucked if there's broken discs in there. But I've got the big chunky, because it's part of my private server project, which still hasn't really got that far, but it's the full that counts. Come on, did the 44, have its soundtrack in the top 10? I think not. Come on. The X-Files I don't know, probably not in the US. I don't know how you guys organize it, but it was in the top 10 in the UK.
Yeah.
There was a point where there was X-Files fever because it was so fucking good. The PlayStation game as well, Steve. I don't know if you've seen the, I think it was on like PC, CD-ROM as well. Looking back at it now, it's fucking awful. But, when you're playing it on the old PlayStation, fantastic. Do you know what? A series that screams for a point-and-click adventure game is the X-Files. And yeah, you're just going to get a DEI reboot in a couple of years.
Amy agrees.
Indeed. I can't remember the name of it, but there is a point-and-click adventure on consoles and PC and all that. I can't remember the name of it, but the main characters are suspiciously modeled after the X-Files, and it has like a creepy kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say extraterrestrial overtone. I didn't get that far into it, but it was enjoyable what I played of it.
Yeah.
The problem is I'm too thick, so I can't play these games because the minute I hit a puzzle, that's me done. So, but I appreciated the experience, what I got out of it. But maybe the X-Files, just fantastic. They don't need to reboot it. Again,
No,
charges should be laid against the fucks that are doing this. It doesn't need it. If you want to take the money that you're going to piss, because that's what they're going to do, they're going to piss it down the drain. What you do is you take that money and you pay professionals to clean up what you've got, the footage. You give it a HD remaster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would stand UHD, but you bring it up to code and then you just re-release it.
I would absolutely buy an HD.
Yeah. I don't know if there are HD remasters, to be fair. I've never seen it on Blu-ray. But maybe like when it's broadcast, it could be in HD now. I don't know. But restore it, give it some love, and you'd probably sell some more Blu-rays and you'd get more people watching it than you ever would having Ryan Coogler's Black Mulder and Troon Scully. Because that's what it's going to be, isn't it?
When the X-Files first came out, the first season went on, and then during the summer, this is before DVD, the VHS came out, and I bought the first season on VHS, and I bought the second season on VHS.
How many tapes was that? 12?
4 or 5?
4? Fuck, okay.
Or maybe it wasn't even the full season. Maybe it was just like a quarter of the season, but
maybe
it was way too chunky, way too big and I never got around to buying the DVDs, which I should. Yeah, I love the 4400, but when it comes to which is more iconic, the X-Files is going to go through.
Because the X-Files came out like when I was still in school, so showing my age there. But they released like hardback books, you do it all the time. Now it's nothing new. But like hardback books that at the time, back in the day, hardback books cost like 20, 25 quid, and everybody would buy them because they wanted to read. They wanted to know as much as possible. Because the internet wasn't a thing. So, you had this kind of, guide come out about series 1 or whatever and had facts and trivia and stuff. So, that's what you got because you wanted to read up. People wanted to know everything about this fucking program.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my last little bit on the X-Files.
All right. So next we got Stargate Atlantis versus Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I have no horse in this race, man. So I have no opinion.
I know you said you weren't a big fan of the Stargate series to begin with, and
yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't hate it. I just average it,
I tried to watch the Atlantis series. I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was as good as SG-1. Mystery Science Theater 3000, incredibly funny. Is it a true sci-fi show? No, but they show a lot of sci-fi on it, and it's a sci-fi type premise. They're out in space. There's robots.
Yeah.
So unless
put it through, and let's see how it stands up to the inevitable.
I was gonna say, yeah, unless the chat has anything. MST3K is going through. Oh, look at this. The chat is in agreement. We are going through. All right. Next up, we have Red Dwarf versus the rebooted Battlestar Galactica.
Smoke me a Starmer, I'll be back for breakfast. Red Dwarf, for me personally. I never watched Battlestar Galactica, so impressions are, it just takes itself a little bit too seriously.
Mhm.
Red Dwarf is one of those rare sci-fi comedies where they throw it all in and it all kind of works, and it has some elements of disgusting stuff. There's they try their hand at kind of terror, not necessarily horror, but from what I remember, there was 1 or 2 episodes. Casting was great. Just one of the greater things to come out of BBC television. That isn't Doctor Who.
Yeah, Red Dwarf is another show that they showed on PBS before or after Doctor Who sometimes, and I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was a funny show. Yeah, this new Battlestar Galactica took itself way too seriously.
And that's the problem with a lot of modern-ish kind of sci-fi. It kind of goes down the edgy route, and it'll be outclassed by older sci-fi time and time again because, particularly, Red Dwarf is a particularly kind of tricky one because it's just funny. It does it well. It does sci-fi elements well. It does the comedy well. Brilliant. And as the cat, I mean, who can... there's no fucking cat in Battlestar Galactica. I'm gonna make the assumption.
No,
Exactly. Automatically, it automatically puts it on a disadvantage, doesn't it?
Red Dwarf moved through. That brings us to V, the series, versus.
I'm sorry, Steve. That was really funny. The V just got carried off by your robotic voice from your internet connection. So I don't think that's how you intended it, but it was just V. I don't know what your thoughts are. I would go with Westworld Series 1 only. I can't be dealing. Series 1 of Westworld was very good, in my personal opinion, anyway. And then they just started fucking it up. Stop me if you heard the story before. They just didn't know what to do after Series 2, but Series 1 was brilliant. V, I've never really seen. I just never really, never really got kind of with it,
Yeah, Westworld was on HBO, and I didn't have HBO, but I think for the first episode or something like that, I got like a free preview of HBO, so I watched it, and it was okay. It didn't really thrill me. It wasn't something where I had to watch it. Whereas the V, they had a mini series, and then they had a second mini series like a year later, and then people loved those two miniseries, so they went ahead and they had the series, which I watched religiously. I remember.
Is this is this an old one, Steve? Because there was a more modern one, wasn't there?
They tried to do a modern take.
Oh, they go on, say the line. They tried to do a reboot, but it failed.
Yeah, it failed. Yeah, V was just about aliens, lizard people, disguised as humans, claiming that they were going to be mankind's friend. In actuality, they just wanted to eat us. So, my vote is for V. The chat, by the chat I mean Amy. She is killing it in chat today.
Number one in the YouTube leaderboard.
Sorry?
Number one in the YouTube leaderboard.
Yes. So I think for this one, V is going to go through.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We got Buck Rogers in the 25th century versus the Outer Limits.
Fuck you. I wasn't really a fan of the Outer Limits.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't know what it was that kind of turned me off from it, but Buck Rogers used to be on kind of semi-regularly when I was a kid, weekends, I think, because obviously Star Trek and all that kind of stuff has started taking the mainstay. But the BBC at the time was still showing some of the older stuff, and I like Buck Rogers. Family friendly. Silly robots that make silly noises. Just it was kind of the best of silly kind of British sci-fi at the time. So
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Buck.
yeah, Buck Rogers was good.
The best, right? What I mean is the best that we had kind of to offer. Not that it was a British program or anything. Yeah, it's kind of not what I meant. But
yeah, I mean, Buck Rogers was good. I enjoyed it. I remember my whole family sitting around the TV and watching it. So
family, this is the thing, isn't it? And how many programs now can you say that about?
not too many.
Yeah, not too many, because they're all too busy trying to be as dark and edgy and close to certain age ranges as they can, and it's just fucking pathetic.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I enjoyed the Outer Limits. I like the anthology aspect where each episode was a different story, and you never knew where it was going to go. There's always some good sci-fi story, but one week it could be aliens, the next week it could be clones, the week after that it could be intelligent ants coming to take over the world. You never knew, and I enjoyed that. But again, Buck Rogers, that's just, there's nostalgia there. Like I said, I remember sitting around the TV. I have clear visions of around Christmas time. My mom would make these cookies, and we'd sit around. We'd snack on the cookies. We'd watch these shows like Buck Rogers, as a family. It was a simple time, and it was one that I look back.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. That sounds absolutely wonderful. Don't worry though, you're going to have such luxuries as the Buffy reboot and the X-Files reboot to do that with your kids and your wife.
Yeah, we're not watching this. I might watch the Buffy reboot just to critique it.
Oh, it's gonna sting. The X-Files reboot is gonna sting as well.
I'm hoping the X-Files reboot never happens.
Coogler signed on in some capacity, mate. He can't wait. He can't wait to diversify it. Probably.
He's too busy, making Wakanda movies now, and
I'm sure he'll find the time.
Ooh. Doctor Who versus Chuck.
It's got to be Doctor Who, isn't it? Unfortunately.
Yes. Unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately for Chuck, not unfortunately for me. But I was never really a fan of Chuck, and don't know why.
I enjoyed the first couple seasons. It was good. But for our purposes, Doctor Who goes up to Capaldi. Anything past that is not real Doctor Who. That's why you don't see any other pretend doctors in this picture. You only see the 4 doctors from the from the New Who.
Yeah.
Although this encapsulates all Doctor Who. We're talking, this is the entirety of Doctor Who.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which way you square it, does it? It's gonna trample Chuck.
Yeah. So again, once the internet wants to catch up, apologies again to the those watching, whether you're watching live or in a replay.
If you're watching on replay, please press the like button. Really appreciate it.
That it's a big help for small channels like mine. And Chris, go check Chris out on a
very small channel in my case, but
go check out Chris on Neon TARDIS. Great channel. We had Doctor Who, yes. Not even close.
Agree.
That's right. That's right. Speaking of not even close, Quantum Leap versus $6 Million Man.
Yeah, it's going to be Quantum Leap, isn't it? I'm sure the $6 Million Man is great in its own right, but there are levels to this game. You know, there are levels, and
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, there was an episode of $6 Million Man that had Andre the Giant in it as playing Bigfoot. So, which
I wonder how drunk he was on set filming that. How many bottles of French Red did he have, do you think?
Don't know. But no one seemed to make a big stink, so he must have been all right. So
they wouldn't dare, I suppose, would they?
he'd fold him in half. So yeah, Quantum Leap's going to go through.
Yeah.
Eventually. Come on.
Please stand by.
Please stand by, yes. Oh, no. Yeah, I do not know what's going on. I've actually seen some other YouTubers talking about their internet stuff going. So I don't.
It's because you all haven't complied and verified your age and ID.
No, we haven't.
So you are going to continue being buffered until you do. To protect the kids, of course.
It's always about the kids, ain't it?
Yeah, to protect the kids.
Okay, here we go.
Wow.
X-Files versus...
This would be a quick and bloodyless battle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and hit X-Files.
Yeah, let's just let's get the headshot and move on. Not even a conversation to be had here.
Mystery Science Theater 3000 is fun to watch, although
no doubt.
They try to bring it back. They try to with new people, but it's just not as funny. Sorry, guys, you're not as funny.
What a surprise! So
here we got Red Dwarf and V.
Red Dwarf for me
versus Cat Person.
Because Red Dwarf, I mean, it's a science fiction comedy done well, and there isn't too many of them out there, and of them that there is, I can't even think. Kind of trying to process this late in the UK, but you know, Red Dwarf is just good. It didn't. I think they did try and reboot it a little bit, and I don't think I've seen those episodes, to be honest. But it had the same cast as far as I'm aware. I didn't hear anyone complaining about it, and that's unusual in the UK. So. It got a little bit of reboot treatment, and it succeeded. It succeeded where others fail. So there's always got that going for it as well, I suppose. Yeah, Red Dwarf for me.
All right.
Because there's too many sci-fi programs like this, isn't there? Like V. You know, serious aliens are taking over the world, you know, and what you need sometimes when you've had a long day at work is Rimmer being a dick and getting his comeuppance.
Amy likes the X-Files. Although she chose V over Red Dwarf, but unfortunately for her, Red Dwarf went through.
Yeah. Well, there you go. These are going to start getting more and more difficult, aren't they? Now, this is kind of the... it has to be Doctor Who, though, unfortunately. Yeah, as much as I have fond memories of Buck Rogers, I have more fond memories of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
With the exceptions and exemptions of you know, kind of the later offerings.
I mean, I would stay up late on weekends to watch classic Doctor Who on PBS. And I would do it happily. Whereas Buck Rogers, it's a good show, but I don't know
if I take and leave it. Yeah, and you know we've had this conversation over and over, but to look at what they've done to that franchise, there should be fucking criminal charges.
There should
be. Hey, look, you'd think it's difficult, but it ain't. It's the X-Files, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can make an argument for Quantum Leap.
Decisive, yeah, just a decisive strike. You know, aliens and stuff, and it didn't. The X-Files went on for quite a while, and there may be some episodes that aren't perfect or whatever, but it never really dropped pace, in my opinion, anyway. I'm exempting the newer stuff because I haven't really watched it. I watched the first like new series, I think, or was it the second? I don't fucking know. Because they did do 2 or 3, didn't they? If memory serves, and I haven't really seen them, but even the X-Files films were enjoyable. They weren't as good as the TV series. I would definitely say that. There was definitely like it was more like kind of action packed, wasn't it? And not necessarily kind of telling the story, and that's fine. The movies bridge the gaps for some of the series. And again, people went to see it because they wanted to know what the fuck was going on. So I don't think that's too much of an issue. But the X-Files is just a cultural phenomenon that can't be ignored, unfortunately, and it's going to continue. I think in this battle, it's going to continue smashing through like a juggernaut. It's the juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching the first X-Files movie in the theater because it did kind of bridge the gap between 2 of the seasons, because the one season ended, then you had the movie when you went to see the movie over the summer, and then you came back and everything kind of picked up after that in the TV show. And I thought that was great. I love them doing that. Yeah. We got X-Files here from Amy.
I think I'm getting to this point where all these shows are going to be pretty much fantastic, and only one can go through, etc. I'm not downplaying. There's a place for Quantum Leap. You need some feel good TV. There it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would absolutely. I should probably find time to start going back through the X-Files and rewatching that. I even liked it when Mulder and Scully left and they got the new agents in. I didn't even mind those guys.
I can't remember that, to be honest. I do remember seeing a bit of it, but not all of it. And I didn't hate, from what I remember, I didn't hate what I saw. And the casting choices weren't too bad either, were they?
No, they were good. You had the T-1000 was it?
Of course, I was just racking my brain. It's coming up to nearly 10 o'clock here, so like I always say, the longer it gets, the less I can perform. Not in those ways. I think that the problem is that people wanted, we call it the X-Files, but it was the Mulder and Scully show, and they weren't going to get on with it if it wasn't Mulder and Scully. And at least Fox understood that and tried to rectify that as soon as they could. But I don't think they were at fault. They did what Disney should have did with Black Panther. They recast for whatever reason, whatever the issues were, and then they moved on with it. So they did it the right way. Just the fans just weren't accepting to it from the sounds of it. They wanted their Mulder and Scully show back, and the thing is, I don't think they really got that back. Maybe. I don't necessarily feel it was the same. But anyways.
All right, so now we have Red Dwarf versus Doctor Who. Two dyed-in-the-wool, 2 very British TV shows.
Definitely. But the further we get to the final, because this is all important, Doctor Who had more cultural dominance, still does, not necessarily for the right reasons, but that's the thing. It's a show that so many people care about, that when you do it wrong, people get upset, and you can make your excuses about it, and you can call people bigots, etc., and all the buzzwords, but Doctor Who is a fantastic program. And you could it also did comedy well when it needed to.
It did.
So, yeah, I mean, okay, not every episode was a comedic masterpiece, but that wasn't its bag, I suppose. It was a jack of all trades from what it used to be. Now it's just Jack, not even Captain Jack.
There we go.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah.
So now what's it going to be, Chris? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? This is where it starts getting interesting. Everything else has just been, a light stroll. This is where we really kind of start getting into it. I don't know. If you look to the future, if they don't go ahead with the X-Files reboot, I think people will want to remember the X-Files more than they would Doctor Who, because at the minute, Doctor Who doesn't have much of a recovery point. We don't even know if we're going to see it on TV again, and the last time we saw it on TV was fucking shocking. Whereas at least with the X-Files, it didn't necessarily kind of die with a whimper like Doctor Who, but it was kind of average, and you can get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Around Christmas time, you don't really want to put Christmas episodes of the X-Files on, do you?
Yeah. No, you don't.
They are something. I don't even know how many there are. But you don't really want to do that, on the run up. I mean, there's a place for it, but you want to watch Christmas episodes of Doctor Who. I'm not saying that Christmas is the judgment kind of calling all of it. I'm just kind of talking about when you want to watch things. And don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I have. While I enjoy the X-Files, and I should get the DVD seasons of the X-Files, I have loads and loads of Doctor Who DVDs behind me, and I can watch Doctor Who anytime. There's Pluto TV and Tubi. You can watch classic Doctor Who, whenever you want.
Nice.
So Doctor Who has always been the go-to show for me.
Have we not got DS9 in this?
No, there was no DS9 in this.
Why not?
This means maybe we'll have another, fight down the road where we'll throw
disgusting arrogance to assume that DS9 wouldn't have also. Anyways, yeah. Sorry, I just I saw TNG and I was like, yeah, DS9, TNG. I was like, oh shit, we're already past that point now, aren't
we? Yeah. So I'm going for Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a brutal one, isn't it? I think again, it's kind of like it's more like how easy can it be watched, and you can throw on Doctor Who whenever you want, pretty much with the entire household there, can't you? With kind of certain exceptions, and it does everything really. It can be funny, it can be scary, it can be kind of heartwarming. Whereas the X-Files, for the most part, was kind of just creepy, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
among other things. So yeah, I think I'd go with Doctor Who as well. Yeah, there's no point trying to be edgy about it and saying, "Oh, well, X-Files," because
Chat agrees with us.
Yeah.
And once my internet catches up, I'm very embarrassed about this. I'm very embarrassed. I'm trying to do a quality show here, and I'm being stymied by lousy internet. Going to have a stern talk with my internet provider later. So here we are.
This is it.
This is the battle. This is the battle we've. Maybe someone might have seen this coming.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you're looking from, there weren't going to be too many kind of options where they really for kind of what kind of got. I do think if we had like your kind of DS9, etc., I think, you know, maybe that would have changed things a little bit, I think. But it's not that much of a difficult decision, though. I would go with Doctor Who, to be honest, over TNG. Just has everything, and TNG sometimes, like I said, you know, can. I think one of the things you can't say for them, you know, most, you know, more so for TNG or Doctor Who, whatever, is Doctor Who wasn't really ever boring.
No.
Now maybe some episodes didn't go quite right, but there was always something exciting going on. Whereas with TNG, sometimes you can have like a season where it's, you know, just all diplomacy and all that kind of stuff, and you know, yeah, there's a time for that. There absolutely is, but my kind of thoughts with Doctor Who.
Well, as much as I love both these shows, and again, I've watched multiple seasons, multiple times. Well, that's the chat screaming at me. Yes, I agree. I choose Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And that's it. We have a winner.
There you go.
32 shows showed up. Some were some had a good go. Some were
dispatched quickly.
Some quickly. You know, some would say humanely. So we can have our winner.
Hell yeah.
Doctor Who.
Nice.
So that was good. I was excited for this. I didn't know how. I mean, I had thoughts on how this might, you know, roll out. This was definitely one of the outcomes I thought might be possible.
Definitely is. You know, ultimately, it's always going to come down to a couple of IPs, isn't it? Yeah, there's some tough ones there. There's definitely some tough ones. I think there may be some decisions that people wouldn't agree with, but that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Kind of talk about this stuff and see what points you can bring up.
The fact that Red Dwarf made it into the final four was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's definitely an underdog going into this thing. Had a good
because
showing.
Much like Eureka, it's different.
Sorry?
Because much like Eureka, it's kind of different. And not necessarily in its setting and what they do, but the fact of being a comedy and using that as the primary driving force of the story, in my opinion.
I love you too, sweetie. Thank you. So that was it. That was our bracket battle for sci-fi TV shows.
Nice.
Now, like Chris said, we didn't have DS9 in this. I figured that there's plenty of other sci-fi shows we didn't even touch. So maybe down the road we can come up with a second bracket battle. Maybe if Chris wants to host that one, if he wants to put it together, by all means, I'll
it's no easy feat doing these, even if you're importing them from kind of wherever. You know, Bracket Fights has got a long way to go to be kind of friendly for this kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah.
But it's a fun idea. It's a fun idea when you get it right like this. It's great if you can run the gauntlet.
So I want to thank everybody for showing up, everybody in the chat, everybody who joined us for this long just to see who would win. I'm going to take a screenshot on X and let everybody know who won. And Chris, is there
You should be able to save it, Steve, if that helps.
Sorry?
You should just be able to save it if that helps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's that, everybody.
Indeed.
Chris, do you have anything coming up? Anything you want to share with the ones and ones of the fans out there?
Well, semi-busy week, kind of, on YouTube again this week. So make sure you check out what we've been up to. neontardis.com. Just go there. That's where all the stuff is. That's where I kind of put all my kind of planned appearances, like I'm some fucking celebrity. But more importantly, it's, that's, if you want to know what I'm going to be up to, that's the best place to do it. It has a couple of links to kind of previous kind of streams as well, which is always handy as well. Got a link to the Patreon there as well. £1 for a month. Really appreciate it. Help me out. Other than that, we're live Sunday, aren't we? So we've got the crew together. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. It's been a bit of a slow week, like kind of Steve has been talking to me kind of offline about it. So we may pad the stream out with something fun to do for the guys as well. So and kind of the lovely people that join us in chat as well. But Sunday, and then I think we're going to maybe pre-record something, aren't we? Monday, we're going to maybe pre-record the franchise fight for the week to go out on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And next week, I said, whether you're kind of doing something later in the week as well, we'll kind of get that out there. But yeah, business as normal.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, check down there, just give the old QR code a snap, and that'll take you right to Neon TARDIS.
Yeah.
As for me, if you want, you can check out my website, stephenhutler.com. It is getting a lot of action the last couple of days. I gotta tell you,
it's always good to get a lot of action.
I'm getting a lot of views on there, and I'm very happy with that. If you would like to support this tiny little thing going on, support me and help keep the lights on, help me achieve my goal of becoming a full-time writer.
Hell yeah.
You can join the Patreon. I have a Patreon. Someone joined Patreon. So they joined the free tier, but I still have somebody.
Hell yeah.
So that's something. I'm not
people to join convinces other people to join. That's kind of my opinion on it. Yeah.
Exactly. So very happy for that. And if you want to check out my books, you can go here, check out the books. I'm not ashamed of shilling stuff. Got to make some money. Thing is, they're on Amazon. Amazon decided to, I don't know why, change the payout for writers. So we're getting less.
Oh, well, that's a surprise, isn't it? Who would have thought? Whenever they make these changes, the creators always end up a bit worse off. Amazing.
Now, it was if your book was $9.99 or less, you were going to get less money. So if you wanted to continue to make the same money, you had to price your book higher. I didn't want to price my book higher. I want people to be able to find reasonably priced things to read. So I'm taking a little bit of a hit, but you guys are still getting a great book at a great price. $9.99 for paperbacks, $2.99 for an ebook. And if you're a member on Amazon, you get the ebooks for free.
Which we check them out, people.
Can't beat that. You can't beat free. So you're right there. Check it out. Check it out. So, Chris, thank you for coming on and giving me a hand with this thing.
Man.
Really, I always appreciate you coming on and helping out. It's good to collaborate with like-minded fellas.
Indeed.
And looking forward to Sunday, seeing what you got planned. Letting you push the buttons, and I can just sit back and relax.
Exactly. I mean, it's always nice, isn't it, to kind of sit back and just check X and see how many bots are following you. But like I said, I think with Sunday, I think it won't be too many button presses, to be honest. I think we're going to run out of stuff kind of newsworthy, and we're just going to end up doing some fun stuff. And that's gonna the right route to go, I think.
That'll be awesome. All right, guys, we're going to sign out now. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here, and check us out outside of this. And that's all we got.
Peace.